Greetings, fellow Imperiums. I believe I have found some heresy. Of course, on Gizmodo or any of these other websites, Jezebel, Kotaku. I mean, you're gonna find some weird stuff that deserves to be committed to the flames. So in this post, we find out that the creator of Man in the High Castle is bringing Warhammer 40k to live action, and that fellow is Frank Spotnitz. Now, he's not the actual writer of the original book and from the 60s. That's Philip K. Dick, or PKD, a very famous science fiction writer. And he's done all kinds of things, but that was in 1962, and that was a story about what would happen if the Axis won the war, which is kind of funny, because I would wonder if extra credits would have something to say about that. I wonder if it would turn you into a Nazi or have you a sympathizer or God knows what. Anyway. So Frank Spotnitz, not to rain on his parade, he was the producer, or what is he, director? Television writer and executive producer. And I know him from Millennium, because that's one of my favorite shows in the 90s, and the X-Files. So after that, he's done all kinds of things, but I have no idea what any of these are, aside from The Lone Gunman and, of course, the X-Files spin-offs. But hey, great. He's doing more work, and he's taking a series, or at least one of the stories series, and turning it to TV. This is the Eisenhorn trilogy, and a fourth book was released last year in 2018, and this is by the writer Dan Abnett. So, I mean, it's great that these things started off in 2001, 2002, and finally just last year. So there must be some appeal to these books. Some people are requesting more stories. I'm not a 40k guy, so I don't know what the lore is all about. I know of some friends who are, and they tell me funny stories and hear this and that and how ridiculously over the top some of these characters can be. But the character Eisenhorn is an Inquisitor, so he's not a Space Marine. He's not one of the 20 children of the Emperor, and he just goes about just blowing away anything which is heretical in the name of the Emperor of Mankind, which is the whole point, really. No one shall oppose the Imperium. And after 3 novellas, I don't know, 300, 400 pages novella-sized books, quite a lot of material to work with. So that's a good sign that you're going to get at least some quality science fiction storytelling in a TV series, obviously if they follow the books. But there's not going to be a big problem. There's not going to be a huge issue with that adapting that when you have so much to work with. So good stuff. And so I don't know who WarhammerCommunity.com is, but they explain in a flowchart how you get from books to a TV script. And obviously you start with a weapon of mass destruction, a cathedral spaceship. And you create some characters, you have an idea for a story, you outline it, that has its own flowchart apparently, and then you draw some pictures. Okay, that's certainly a creative way of telling a story. Hopefully the pictures are actual keyframes or storyboards for what you want. And somehow, I don't know how this works, but somehow that translates to script writing. With characters outlined and concept art perfected, the creative team begins the labor of turning the idea into a full screenplay. I wouldn't agree that's the right transition from whatever this is. You can go straight to script writing. I mean, it's not a big deal. But okay, into the breach, whatever that means. Finally, with all the above complete, it's time to take the developed property and launch it into the roiling madness of the warp. Will be lost forever amid a maelstrom of chaos, or emerge triumphant into a realm of TV production. Only time will tell. Okay. Well, that's certainly a long voyage of about 19 years or so to get that book series made into a TV series. Whether it's going to be streaming on Amazon or Netflix, I have no clue. I would imagine Amazon, just because that's where Mr. Spotnitz has been working so far. There's probably less giant cathedral ships. Aw. I want to see some awesome cathedral ships of mass destruction involved in making TV. It's far from the Games Workshop's first attempt to spin off its beloved tabletop series into the realm of cinema. Abnett himself penned the script for the 2010 animated Space Marine movie, Ultramarines, a Warhammer 40K movie, and more recently, a company recruited a 40K fan filmmaker. Yeah, I believe there's 2 fan films out there to produce a new animated web series about the Blood Angels chapter of the Space Marines. Okay, well, that's great. I mean, I wish I knew more to tell you about the writing quality of the 40K stories. I'm sure all my wonderful viewers would have a fan or are themselves a fan of the 40K Warhammer series. And you can tell me in the comments below what makes 40K or Warhammer 40K just so darn good and why it deserves to be made into a TV series, live streaming or otherwise.